Going, Mr. Halfont here with my dog in the background. Welcome back to class. It's good to see you. And I'm also really glad to have heard from so many of you guys for your writing, for what's going on. Keep it coming, man. It's really good to hear from you. So, Tom, time for a quick review before jumping into the fourth quarter. From the beginning of the year, we've been running through American literature and through American literature, how we think. You guys remember we began with the Puritans. It was just all about God. Brother, let us pray. Any answers, they're in the Bible or pray for them. On to the rationalists, Ben Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, those guys. Use your head, use logic, think scientifically. After that, the romantics, think with your heart, like Poe, man with issues, but still. Uh, After the romantics, Civil War, nobody wanted to listen to pretty poetry anymore. The realists take over. You guys remember we read Mr. Frederick Douglass. That was the battle with Mr. Covey. We talked about these guys wanting to just use ordinary people for their subjects. Remember these coal miners in Pennsylvania? And we were going to read Mr. Mark Twain, but we didn't get the chance because now we move on. And only one lifetime later, it is the dawn of the 20th century. And you have to imagine, to understand the next era, what it must have been like to be alive at the beginning of the 20th century, the 1900s. So imagine a kid was born, say 1900, let's call it. He's born, 1900. So 1910s, he's 10 years old, he's a kid, the world goes to war, World War One. That's his whole childhood. He's in his 20s, and we won the war. America's awesome. The economy is incredible. Everybody's making money. You can finally afford a car. You can have it in any color you want, as long as it's black, because it's the only color they make them. And then by the time you're 30, you're married, maybe got a kid or two, the economy crashes, and it's the Great Depression for another 10 years. Come out of that and you're 40, and it's back to another world war. What would that do to a person, to a country, to go through all of that, those ups and downs that quickly? We enter the next and last era of American literature, the modernists. After the roller coaster of good and bad times at the beginning of the 20th century, Americans begin to question everything. I often think of it like growing up. When you're a kid, your parents know everything, your teachers know everything, and everything is black and white. There's good guys and bad guys. You get a little older and you start to look around and you start to wonder, I'm not sure the world is really like that. What's the deal here? And then eventually, I'm just saying, you get rebellious. It's time for the modernists. Now it's the time of the 1920s. So this is right after World War One, and we have won what they assumed to be the only world war. The economy was great, innovation was crazy, but people were really turning on tradition because they knew nothing lasts forever. Women really started, shall we say, finally getting free. Look at that outfit. Can you imagine? Can she breathe? Look at the waist on that thing. In the 1920s, all of a sudden, they're cutting their hair short, the shorter skirts. Oh my God, they can see her knees. Cover the children. And at this time, this is when they decided, 1920s, to make alcohol illegal. But we're Americans, still want a beer. Next thing you know, everybody's looking for the loopholes. You could still drink alcohol for religious purposes. So all of a sudden, buying wine, a lot of people saying, yeah, I'm Jewish too. Even from a radiator, you could drink. That's like drinking, okay, what's it called? Rubbing alcohol. You ever hear of blind drunk? That's where it comes from. You'll go blind. But what people didn't realize this was going to do was bring about the rise of organized crime in America. If you're going to rob a bank, you don't need more than 2 or 3 people to do it with you, right? But if you're going to get lots of people, something they could only get illegally, you need a whole organization. You need people to make the booze, people to transport the booze, people to protect the booze. You know what I'm saying? So this is when they accidentally created organized crime. Take a look at this party. This is how people felt once alcohol was made illegal. It was the first time that everybody was doing something that everybody knew they weren't supposed to do. Look at this. There's the sign saying you're not allowed to drink, surrounded by all kinds of booze. This is the 1920s. Meanwhile, stock market is fantastic. Everybody's making money. It's going up and up and up. Can only last so long. Now we'll get into the area of New York that chapter one of The Great Gatsby is talking about. But for now, we'll leave that alone and just tell you this is about an area called the Hamptons. If this is Manhattan downtown, that's what everybody knows about. Out here is Manhasset Neck, Great Neck, often called the Hamptons. We're talking some big money houses. Look at these places. These are not museums or libraries. These are private residences. This is my favorite. Note the pool and whole separate small house over here. The pool house. Happily live there. Here are our main characters. Really, all we have to worry about for the moment are three. We got Nick Carraway. Nick is our narrator. This whole story is from his perspective, and he is writing it after this has already happened. So, this is one of those stories like I remember when it all began. And then he goes off to see the Buchanans, extraordinarily wealthy, didn't hurt a penny of it, old money. Daisy Buchanan is his cousin, like twice removed or something, and he knew Tom in college. And with that, I send you on to read chapter one of The Great Gatsby. I'll be posting questions on it in just a day or two. So just know that the first couple pages are the hardest, but very quickly you just fall right into dialogue with these guys and you will see how it all works out. So enjoy, and it's a great book. So please read chapter one of The Great Gatsby, and I'll talk to you guys soon. See ya.